Welcome to the first annual Keeping Kids Safe Festival, featuring Mark Klass and his digital fingerprint program. We have taken this event and put it as a way for law enforcement, fire protection to all interact with the community in a fun, festive format.
Well, what we're doing is our printathon that we've been doing for years around the country. In essence, what we do is anchor a larger project, but the piece that we do is the digital fingerprinting and photographing of children. And we use digital equipment for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's much more sophisticated. Number two, one doesn't have to invest in ink and film. And number three, we're able to capture viable prints on children as young as even 3 or 4 weeks old. So what we'll do is we'll bring a child through the line, sit them down in front of the camera, take their digital photograph, take their digital prints, and then give their parents what we call a bio document.
What we have here is, we like to think of a proactive and reactive document. It's proactive in that in an emergency you have a logical step-by-step process and a document to give to police to jumpstart the investigation. But prior to that, you have ways to prepare your family and keep them safe in a non-threatening, non-scary way. So we can get you ready, and then in the worst-case scenario, you have the way to deal with it.
Along with the Mark Klass fingerprinting, what we've decided is we were going to go ahead and offer the community a way to store their data, because the more I talk to individuals that already have had their fingerprints done for their kids, they couldn't tell me where they were. So that led me on another path to want to store them for them, so that in any emergency, when a parent has that happen, they can call us at the Beam Center and we forward that information to the law enforcement, so that it's always retained here in fireproof safes and we always know where it's at.
We want to make sure that the underlying safety message was conveyed. So even though we're doing crafts with the kids, with the Boy Scouts, for instance, for one example, they're putting together first aid kits. We also have Brownie Troop putting together whistle necklaces and lanyards. The Grass Valley Police Department's putting together a bicycle rodeo, and what that means is the kids come out with their bikes so they can run around our little mock city out there, but at the same time the officers are talking to them about street safety and things that hopefully avoid an accident.
We were at the First Alert Convention last year when Mark Klass spoke, and he just inspired me 100% and hit me right in the heart. And when I found out we were able to do this in our community, it was a good way of returning something to the community. It's been so good to us for 15 years.
When a person becomes a sponsor, we will step them through. We have a 6-page list that we affectionately call a checklist, but it talks about the way to approach schools, it talks about the way to approach newspapers, to remind them that Mark Klass is available for any kind of remote interview, and we can help you think out loud and come up with some great ideas to make your event unique.
My recommendations are first to start early. Give yourself about 2 to 3 months in terms of planning. When you're wanting to get the media's attention, if you're just trying to get them to do a news story, they're really not going to think more than 2 weeks out. So start sending them a press release or a media advisory and calling them about 2 weeks beforehand. If you're going to do any sort of advertising, get working on that about a month and a half to 2 months ahead of time. But we did minimal advertising. Most of what we did was public relations, and that doesn't cost you anything.
My advice to anybody that wants to try one of these is get your company behind you. We have wonderful employees. They all stepped up to the plate. They all want to know what they could do. Just jump in. Your employees will stand behind you as an owner and a manager to make the decision, and go for it.
Frankly, I'm really impressed with the volunteer work and the amount of effort everybody's putting into this.
This is remarkable for a businessman in this community to do something like Joe Bemis has done today. And I think that it shows that people like Joe here put on something that they can do for their community, and just feel really good about it.
Mark Klass is a very huge value to this event, and having him was a great success. I think everybody needs to do something besides just sell to the public. They need to give back to the community what they give to us. I think everybody should take advantage of this.
Well, we'd like to work with First Alert all over the country, putting on these kinds of safety fairs that it would benefit communities in all of the ways that we've just talked about.